What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel. If you are new, it is your boy Chris. We are here today to talk about how to get out of losing streaks. So if you are new, make sure you hit the like button, smash the subscribe, turn on the bell notification so that way you get notified whenever these videos drop. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram because I feel like the content I post on my story is super relevant, super important. Some of it's just memes, some of it's spiritual stuff, and some of it's just me talking nonsense. So I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Let's go jump into it. We are in the office like always, but sure, as you noticed, we forgot one thing. And we're back. Losing streaks and how to get over them. This isn't just gonna be for trading. This is something that's relevant for every area of life. The reason why I say it's every area of life is because it could be, coincidentally, I'm wearing a soccer jersey today. This could really apply to anything. It could apply to business. It could apply to creating a business and getting into the world of entrepreneurship. It could apply to traders. It could apply to athletes. It could apply to artists, musicians, pretty much any field I think that it could apply to, or a majority of fields, or just any field in general, even if it comes to like a losing streak in regards to like taking exams or tests, so on and so forth. The first thing you have to realize that a losing streak is your perspective of it. Your perspective, everything comes down to psychology. Every decision we make, every choice we make, every good or bad thing that happens in life is all based on perspective and how we see that thing that's occurring. Some of it could be lessons. A hard time could be a lesson, or you could just look at it like it's a hard time and you're a victim of the world and your life's horrible, blah, 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 whatever the case is. Or you can look at a hard time as a lesson, really analyze that hard time or that loss and that situation that you're going through and figure out how that's bettering you in what shape, way, or form, what you're learning from it, what you can apply to the future to avoid going through that again. There's so many, everything is literally just comes down to psychological stuff, the psychological aspect of things, but in regards to how to deal with a losing streak, the number one thing that I feel 99% of people have to do when they are approached with a losing streak is pause. Just pause, take a breath, walk away from the computer, walk away from the court, if it's basketball court, the field, if it's a soccer field, whatever the case is, walk away from whatever it is that you're doing that you're going through a losing streak in. Because at the end of the day, humans don't like losing. We are programmed in a very greedy way. We are programmed in a way that we always want to win, and we want not instant gratification, but we want gratification from whatever it is that we're doing, or we feel like it's just not fulfilling and it's not the right thing, or blah 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 blah, whatever other stories we tell ourselves. So the number one thing that you need to do when you are going through a losing streak and whatever it is that you're in is just pause and step away, whether it's for an hour or a day or a week. It really depends on you yourself. Some people may be like me, where even if they're on a losing streak, they can just snap out of it in like 10 minutes, because in my field, obviously it's trading. I have no emotions towards trading. So when I'm faced with something like that, I'll just sit back. I don't like to jump in a trade right away. Like obviously if I lost a few trades, or I lost a trade and it maybe not bothered me, but it shouldn't have happened, I'll sit there and I'll figure out why it happened. And then I'll go step away, I'll go work out, I'll go read, I'll do something, and then come back in the afternoon or an hour, half an hour from now. But I think that everyone in some way, shape, or form needs to pause and walk away from whatever they're doing, because emotions take over if not. And when emotions take over, you're not working logically, you're not making logical decisions. You're going based off of emotion, which emotion isn't something that you can operate on when it comes to, I think, really anything. Anything, if you want to be the most successful that you can be in it, I think that you need to subtract emotions from it in general. That's why you'll see basketball players, as an example, when it's crunch time and they need to get that last shot, or they're hustling to get up the court and get that last shot in to tie up the game or to win the game. A lot of the times, if they're put in a situation where maybe they messed up and their team's down because of them, they're emotional, and you'll see them subbed off, or you'll see them make another mistake if they do get the ball when it's that chance to make up for it and win the game or tie the game. so on and so forth. It happens in literally anything. Even there's been times where I'll be on the sim and I'll be in a race, and this was also in real life too when I raced growing up. So I would make a mistake, and actually, you know what, I take that back. I feel like it happened less when I was younger because I was just going based off of what I knew I had to do. I feel like when you're younger, you're less influenced by your emotions, or at least I was. And I just knew if I made a mistake, I had to correct it right away and make up for it and keep pushing. Whereas there's been times where I made a mistake, and yesterday was actually the first time that it didn't happen, but I made a mistake in a race and I'd start like huffing and puffing and oh shit, I can't believe I just did that, what's going on, like why I was doing so well, blah blah blah, instead of just like pausing, getting back on the track, continuing, if the car was obviously drivable, continuing and going forward from there. Like I did yesterday, I had a good race, I made a mistake, spun out, didn't even think about it, I just as quickly as I could got back on track, recentered my focus and kept pushing until the end of the race. So I think just that pause really separates the people that go through a downward spiral and really suffer from the losing streak that they're on, and the people that bounce back pretty relatively quickly and are able to take the lesson from that losing streak and apply it to the future to avoid it happening altogether, or maybe to that extent again. The second thing that you need to do is sit back and analyze what works for you. Remind yourself what works for you. Go back, and that's why it's good to journal things. No matter what you do in life, it's always good to journal and write things down, because I think writing, I'm not sure, can't remember the exact percentage, and I don't want to pause obviously and research it right now, but I believe it's like you retain 37% more, or something along those lines. You retain a percentage around that amount more when you write things down, as opposed to just trying to store it in your brain, because you have to think of your brain as a computer. The more stuff you're trying to store, the slower it's going to go, and the more fuzzy and less you're going to be able to hold, because you're just overriding it. Same as your computer. If you have 100 tabs open, it's going to be slow. Some of the tabs are going to freeze and close on their own, so on and so forth. So it's really good to write things down, and there's always something to go back and look at, tangible object that you can hold and say, oh okay, like this is this and that is that, so on and so forth. So going back after you've taken that pause, seeing what works for you, and really analyzing what you did wrong in that trade or that game or that exam or whatever the case is that you're on a losing streak on, and just figuring out what the next step is, how to move forward from it, and what you have to correct. And also journaling that as well, like my losing streak was because of this, this, and this. If I do this, this, and this next time, then that won't happen, right? So on and so forth. And just taking a break to just, after that, just meditate on it, sit on it, maybe do things that help you lift your energy back up, like listen to some music that you vibe with and that makes you like pumped up and excited, or listening to a podcast or a motivational video on YouTube, or I don't know, something funny on YouTube or something funny on TV, just something to realign yourself, or meditate, or read a book, or do something that's going to help you forget about that little obstacle that you were just faced with, figure out how to correct it, pause, recenter yourself, realign yourself with the highest vibration possible to achieve what you want in the future, and then go back and attack it. Go back on the court, go back on the field, go back to the exam and redo the exam, your driving exam, your school exam, your, I don't know, your online exam, your online game if you're in a tournament, whatever the case is. Just going back and reattacking it with a fresh mind, a fresh attitude, no emotions, and just logic and proper decision making behind it, as opposed to just taking a loss, trying to make it back up, taking a loss, trying to make it back up, taking a loss, trying to make it back up, or whatever the case is when it applies to the area that you're in. But really having those core things that you can go to push yourself and to bring the best energy out of yourself as much as you can, whether it's, again, meditating, reading, watching something funny, listening to something, whatever the case is. You really need to, I preach this so many times and I'll keep preaching it forever, you need to find the things that work for you, because the things that work for me may not work for any of you, or they may work for all of you, and vice versa, so on and so forth with everyone. So you really need to find the things that resonate with you, the things that help you get out of that funk, working out, stretching, doing yoga, whatever the case is, you have to find those core elements and those core activities that you can go to when you're going through a hard time, when your energy is low, when you wake up in the morning, when you're feeling off, you're not feeling yourself, something happened, somebody stressed you out, you were late to work, you got fired, whatever the case is, those core things that you can go back to and really build your day off of, build your energy off of, and correct that funk that you're feeling. Because it's okay to sit there and analyze the funk, but don't let your entire existence in your life become the funk and just stay there for days, weeks, and months, and some people years, because they just don't care to push themselves to get out of it, and it just becomes their everyday life. So I hope that this inspires you. I hope it inspires and helps one or some of you that are maybe going through a losing streak, or you recently have, or just a hard time in general, and how to bounce back from it and how to get yourself out of it. I appreciate you watching this video. If you didn't at the start, please hit the like, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications, and again, check me out on Instagram. Peace!